Good evening, everybody. Toe again from Pulsar, and in today's video I wanted to talk about input timer now, and also talk about debug.log. So the input timer is a measurement of how fast your wallet is submitting shares for the staking reward. Now the input timer will appear in your debug log if the input is slow, that is under or at 1,000 milliseconds, which is 1 second. So in other words, when your wallet becomes slow, it will the input timer will appear in the debug log, letting you know that it's not qualifying for staking rewards because of that slow speed. And that can be in relation to the size of your wallet. So yesterday we fooled around and we created a wallet and encrypted it. So you can see how a new fresh wallet is relatively small in size. It's under a meg. So one of the leading indicators that you may have an inefficient or slow wallet is that the file size of wallet.dat will be several megabytes in size. It's very difficult to put an exact number on that size because everybody's computer is different. Some people have faster processors where the size doesn't become an issue until it becomes 80 megabytes or so. But then again, some people with weaker processors may encounter an inefficient wallet at 30 megabytes. These are just examples. But one way to measure it for sure on your machine is to look at the debug log file and look for input timer. All right. So input timer is going to automatically appear in this debug log file whenever the value exceeds 1,000 milliseconds. That's going to happen automatically whether or not we force the input timer to become on. All right, so what we're going to do first, I have Pulsar, the wallet is closed, it's not running, and so we're going to go into the config file for Pulsar, and what we're going to do here is we're going to force the input timer to become active, even though maybe your timers don't exceed that 1,000 milliseconds. We want to see what values they actually do have, and in doing that, we just type debug equal bench, and that's it. Once we put that in the Pulsar config and we save it, then when the wallet loads up, it's going to load this config file as is, and it's going to run off the commands inside here. And just as a side note, for the whole staking wallet passphrase, I just went ahead and commented a line here at the top with that command wallet passphrase with PW, whatever your password is. This is that 3 years of seconds value and true for staking. So instead of having to type it in every time, I just open up this file, copy paste it, and there we go. So I'll just go ahead. Why not? Do it right now. All right, so that's copied and pasted. Now, your debug log file that's in the app data Pulsar folder is going to be whatever size. Sometimes it's like 8 megabytes. If you've just deleted it and started fresh, it'll be the file size will be lower. So let's just, for giggles, let's just open up the debug log that I have here, so we can see that when the wallet is initiated, it actually outputs that initiation information into this debug log.file based from this debug equal bench being active in the config. Okay, so I did this before the video started, so we populated it with some information here. You can see that it's loading blocks. Okay, so what we're going to do before we get started is that we're actually going to delete the debug log file, or we're going to start fresh. So that guy can go away. All right, now that he's gone, we can go ahead and start the wallet. And it will load. So here we are at the loading blocks. Upon loading, like I said, it pulls the config parameters from pulsar.conf, and inside pulsar.conf, we are telling it debug equal bench. Therefore, as this thing chugs along, it'll create a new debug log file. Here it is, and it'll start piping in some information as it progresses. And if you have, if you're curious, if you have Notepad++ and you want to follow along, what you could do is click View, go down to the bottom, and Monitoring. So once you click that, the screen, the information here will automatically populate with information as it arrives. You can see it's scrolling now 8%, 8%. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to wait for this to get closer to 100%, and we will continue on. Okay, so now we are at 100% of loading the blocks. That took a little bit of time to do that. And now what's going to happen as the wallet initializes is that this debug log, since I have the tail view mode on, that check mark, it's on, it's monitoring this for changes. It's just going to populate with a lot of information very, very quickly. And that is the disadvantage of doing debug equal bench in the pulsar config file, is that this file will get really big really fast. So my recommendation is to only enable that debug bench for diagnostic purposes. Okay. So once again, yeah, wallet is locked. And so look at these line numbers now. 1,184. Okay, so we're at 1,200. So this is it's just flying by with a lot of information, and some of it may be input timer. So what we're going to do now, we'll go ahead and unlock the wallet, and remember how we do that. We go to Help, Debug, and here we are, Debug. Go to Console, and then remember I copied and pasted this from the config file. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so I entered that, and staking is true, and the warning is gone, and we're just seeing. Okay, so we're at 14. You can see how fast this is really just pushing information. All right, so let's disable that monitoring so we can actually get a read for it. Luckily, input timer 1 millisecond. Input timer 0 millisecond. And of course, these low values have to do with this is a fresh wallet. It doesn't have very many transactions in it at all. I haven't been using it for mining. I haven't got it. It's not megabytes upon megabytes large in size. Okay. So what I have here is mining software. So of course I can re-enable this monitoring. Of course it tells me it's been filling up with information. So here we are at what, 2640 with the 0-second input timer. We're going to go ahead and re-enable the monitor, and it's just going to fly by. Okay, why am I doing this? I want to show you. Hopefully it works. Maybe this wallet is just still too small, not enough inputs where we're not going to see much of a difference. But when you do CPU mining on the same machine that hosts your Pulsar wallet, you're going to see the input timer increase When it increases, it means it's less efficient. But it still should be under 1,000 milliseconds, so it's good. But for those of you who have never paid much attention to your inputs, or if you've not consolidated your inputs, you may need to move and use a different wallet DAT. You may need to just transfer everything you got in the old wallet, move it to a new wallet DAT that'll have less transactions in it. All right, so what I want to show you now, I'm going to fire up this CPU miner. Okay, we're keeping it running. All right, it's freaking out. Okay, may need to close, if it'll let me close this notepad. Okay, let's reopen it, the debug log. Yeah, of course I want to reload it. And the monitoring is off. Okay, so now we're looking for input timer. Okay, here's 0 milliseconds. Let's go as far to the bottom as we can. Input timer now 6 milliseconds. So we can do a Control F. We can do input timer. Search for that in the debug log. And you know what? We can go, instead of find, we just do mark. We can do this right up here. Go to the very beginning, and then do mark all. So it finds 166 instances of input timer in debug log. So now we kind of scroll down. Let's see. Hopefully, okay, we're still very early on in this. Okay, this is when the wallet was initiating. Scroll down some more. What I'm looking for is okay, this blue dot. That's what the whole mark all will do, is it'll mark where it finds this phrase throughout the file. So input timer 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So we're getting an idea of this wallet, before I initiated the miner, is at a value of 0 to 1 milliseconds when submitting proof of stake to see if it qualifies to earn a reward. So yeah, we're getting false, POS false. So that's before I did the whole unlocking the wallet. So let's just scroll down. False match. Okay, false match. Okay. Let's scroll down even more. 0, 6. So view. Let's monitor this guy. It's probably going to freak out again because this, like I said, is populating with so much information so quickly that it has to buffer it up. Wow, that's really going to oversaturate. How big is it? Just out of curiosity. I'll come back in. Debug log 638K. 644K. Yeah, it's totally not letting me even select. I'm clicking on this window here. It's not even letting me select it. Okay, close it and load it again. 671K. Yeah, I want to reload it. Okay, let's see where we're at. We'll do the whole input timer 2 milliseconds. Right. So I'm showing you there that, of course, the miner does have an impact on the input timer. A miner running on the same machine as a wallet will make your wallet less efficient in regards to the input timer. All right. And as a side note, that's my whole input timer / miner / doing things in the config spiel. I wanted to go over something on inputs just right quick. We'll finish out. Okay, so let's look at send. Let's go to inputs. Let's click on that. All right, so on this I have 4 inputs in this address. So 969, 10, 10, 10. So if I wanted to, let's see, send it to myself. Here. Nope. So I have to load up the notepad. Okay. To get this is the address of this wallet. So automatically selected, custom change. So I want to send 10 to myself. So you see that we have 4 inputs, and now what I'm trying to do is make a 5th input. Okay, passphrase 1 2 3 4 5. Okay. Yes. So, oh look, that's weird. I still have 4 inputs. Why can that be? Well, that's because that I'm specifying the value of 10, and the wallet is automatically selecting a value of 10. And so it doesn't increase in the number of inputs. But if I were to left click on this individual input that is 10, and I click on lock unspent, you see little lock appears next to it. And on this 10, lock unspent. Okay, so now I'm telling the system, don't even look at these because they're locked out. Don't even consider them. So now, if I were to just specify my custom change address, my destination address is the same. I select 10, send to myself 1 2 3 4 5. Okay. Now I have 5. 10. Okay. So supposing I want another 10. I have to lock this guy. Okay. Custom change. Pay to myself. Another 10. Send. Okay. So now it should be 6. So now we have values of 10. Of course, do unlock these back for consideration. Once they're locked, they are not considered for proof of stake. So we want to unlock and unlock everything that we got. Now, did that influence the input timer? Probably not. Like I said, there's not much activity in this particular wallet that I'm kind of scared to see how we're up to 13,749. We didn't start off there. We started off a lot less of a value. I know what's going to happen if I do this again. It's going to freak out. It's just too much information. It's freaking out. All right, whatever. We're just going to force close it. Okay, so now we're going to simply exit. Now that we've exited, now we want to make it to where that debug log doesn't grow so quick. So now we're going to go back into the config file. We're going to put a # at the very beginning of debug equal bench. And me personally, I like to do the debug exclude equal 1. So attempts to place as little information as possible in the debug log file. It'll still put the input timer when input timer is greater than 1,000 milliseconds. That'll still appear like no matter what automatically. But frankly, that's all I want to see in my debug log file. So I'll save that. And then I will, it's already up to a meg. So I'll go ahead and delete that. And then I'll load the wallet. Even though it's mining, I'll go ahead and load it. and I will wait till it fully loads, and then we'll see if I can actually do the monitoring of the Notepad++ of debug.log. Okay, so here we are again. We are at 100%. We are now rewinding the blocks, and so now you can see that I have this little eye present on debug.log, meaning that the monitoring is active and it's not freaking out. It's able to handle this amount of text being piped into the file. So I'll go ahead and copy this again. I'll go to unlock the wallet. Oops, maybe I should type in 1 2 3 4 5. Kind of be helpful. There we go. So now we go back to look. Wallet is locked. New outbound here. Okay, so it seems to handle that just fine. And remember, that was because I did the debug exclude equal 1. Now I wonder. All right. So let me pull some information real quick. Now when it comes to the whole debug equal in your pulsar config, there are several different values that could go there. So what I'm just going to do, just to make it easier, I'm just going to put this. Of course, I'm not going to leave it in here, but just for the sake. Okay, so we can have this category like debug. What category are we talking about? In the case to force the input timer on when it doesn't need to be on, we do debug equal bench. But other optional categories are net, tor, mempool, HTTP. Of course, here's the bench, ZMQ, DB, RPC. So there's lots of different values that can go there, and I chose bench. It could be that I can choose something else and it would give me more concise information. I don't know. I haven't experimented with all possible combinations of this being the bench, the debug value. Now, when it comes to the debug exclude, I'm using that to limit the amount of information in the debug log file. So I just do 1 to like exclude everything, or as much as possible, to make the debug log file as small as possible. So in general chat in the Pulsar Discord, I want to hear you guys how you experimented with your debug values and your debug exclude values to make the debug log file as small and concise as possible, while still showing input timer information. I think that'd be kind of cool. Okay, so we're still chucking along on the debug log file with that newer value. Let me turn word wrap off. Okay, we are at 272 lines of information. Compared to the other, when it's bench, it was way more than that. So I'll go ahead and end the video here. And if you have comments or questions or follow-ups, please visit our Discord, post in the general chat, and somebody will be along to help. Have a good evening.